Hi everyone, I am Anonymous Traveler from Intellectual Exercise. Today I will discuss modified ketogenic diet, which is my own version of a ketogenic diet focused on brain and the cognitive function. And the first thing first, let me clarify something. There is a lot of misconception about ketogenic diet thanks to YouTube. Ketogenic diet was created by Johns Hopkins University for medical treatment purpose. But nowadays, a lot of people are selling ketogenic diet for weight loss and fat loss. And let me tell you where I come from. I am working in the healthcare industry and have been involved with several clinical studies for medications and health supplement. I have a master's degree and a license to practice in medical field. I will not reveal the name of the graduate school and the type of license I have because I don't want to reveal my identity. But originally, I wanted to become a pharmacist. But I moved to the United States as an already grown-up adult and didn't have enough money for pharmacy school. Originally, I came to the United States as a participant in a research program, and then I enrolled in a college and I took many prerequisite classes for a pharmacy school. And my GPA was good enough for any pharmacy school, and I got multiple Dean's Honor Award based on my academic performance. But I was not a US citizen at that time, so I could not get a scholarship. To become a pharmacist in the United States, one needs a Doctor of Pharmacy degree, but I just didn't have enough money to finish the doctor's degree. So I have to find a field in the healthcare industry that requires only a master's degree instead of a doctor's degree. So that's how I ended up with my current job and license. And many of you commented on my English. Yes, I have a very thick accent, and that's because I moved to the United States as a fully grown-up adult. When you learn to speak foreign language as an adult, you cannot get rid of an accent. Just ask Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anyway, I found out about ketogenic diet through clinical researches. The studies were fascinating, so I have been reading whatever study I can get a hold of for years. But later, when I watched some YouTube videos, I realized that there is a lot of misinformation. The biggest misinformation is ketogenic diet is carnivore diet or heavily meat-based diet, which is completely false. Ketogenic diet is about having at least 70% of calories from fat and eating less than 20 grams of carbohydrate and staying in ketosis with full keto adaptation. So it doesn't matter whether you are omnivore, vegetarian, vegan, or carnivore. Anybody can follow ketogenic diet as long as his or her fat calorie intake is more than 70% of daily calorie intake with less than 20 grams of carbohydrate per day. Anyway, my knowledge on ketogenic diet is not something I obtained from several YouTube videos. It's mostly from clinical research papers. With the knowledge that I obtained from clinical studies, I have been experimented with ketogenic diet for 3 years, and I finally came up with my own version of ketogenic diet. And today, I will share this modified ketogenic diet. My version is mostly focused on anti-inflammatory effect and cognitive function improvement. Since my weight is perfect for my height, I am not interested in the benefit of weight loss from ketogenic diet. And some people try ketogenic diet and they don't even bother to measure their blood ketone levels, and that's a big mistake. In order to try ketogenic diet in a scientific manner, you need to use blood ketone measuring device. I saw a lot of people on YouTube using their physical or mental condition as a sign of ketosis. After eating semi-ketogenic diet for a while, they feel great, so they consider it as a sign of being in ketosis. But that is not true. What is actually happening is they are experiencing the benefits of a low carbohydrate diet, and it is different than the benefits from being in ketosis with a full keto adaptation. Yet so many people are confused about this. Low carbohydrate diet can bring you mental clarity and alertness, but if you push it to the level of a keto adaptation, the mental clarity and alertness gets deeper and stronger. The reason why I am following ketogenic diet is because of that deep and strong mental clarity and cognitive function improvement. And the only way to be sure that you are in ketosis is using blood ketone measuring device. And that's because urine testing type measuring device is completely useless after a couple of weeks of a ketogenic diet, and the breath-based measuring device is somewhat better than urine testing type device, but still not accurate enough. With blood ketone measuring device, the ketone level score should be between 0.3 to 5.0. I know many people say is between 0.5 to 5.0, but that's not always true. Some people are fully keto adapted and yet their score is 0.3. Anyway, I will post a link down below to the blood ketone measuring device that I personally use. And when you start ketogenic diet, the first 3 months is make it or break it period whether you can achieve full keto adaptation. When a person started producing ketone in their liver, that is only the beginning. In general, it takes about 1 month to 3 months for a human body to be fully adapted to ketone-based metabolism. It's called keto adaptation. So you need to be very strict on ketogenic diet during the first 3 months, which means 80% or more calories from each meal should be coming from fat. And after 3 months, you can experiment with the various amount of fat intake. There are some people who can maintain ketosis with eating as low as 65% of calories from fat. But on average, it's about 70% of calories or more from fat that most people require to maintain ketosis. And when you lower the fat intake, your other calories should be coming from protein, not from carbohydrate. Carbohydrate should be under 20 grams per day to be safe. I know some people can get away with carbohydrate up to 50 grams per day, but if you want to experiment with the amount of carbohydrate intake, you need to do it very gradually and carefully. And for the best result, try to use the best fat. For my modified ketogenic diet, what I recommend is using the following 4 oils for your main source of fat. Those are olive oil, macadamia nut oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. By the way, if you are vegan or vegetarian, then you need to eat at least 30 grams of coconut oil for proper saturated fat intake. And macadamia nut oil is a great source of omega-7 fatty acid, which is highly anti-inflammatory, so it's a perfect fat for brain performance focused ketogenic diet. Our brain performance is heavily affected by the baseline inflammation in our body. We are living in an age of chronic inflammation, and most people have some degree of inflammation, whether they realize that or not. So my modified ketogenic diet is heavily focused on lowering the baseline inflammation. By the way, I will share links down below to the macadamia nut and the macadamia nut oil product that I personally use. And for avocado oil, you might want to try avocado oil based mayo as well. It's a very convenient way to maintain high fat intake during each meal. The products that I use are made with 80% to 90% of avocado oil. Yes, I use 2 different products. You can use them as a healthy dip source for each meal, and whatever you cook, you can just dip it in the avocado mayo. And also, there is avocado mayo that has just enough flavor. So if you don't like the taste of a mayo, you might want to try that version. I will share links to the avocado mayo product that I personally use. And if you use a ketogenic shake as a meal replacement whenever you are busy, you can easily meet the proper range of fat intake for the first 3 months. During the first several months, it can be difficult to come up with a menu for ketogenic diet, and ketogenic shake is a great option for that issue. Also, due to its high fat content, ketogenic shake is much more filling than a regular meal replacement shake. And I will share my own recipe for ketogenic shake. And in order to make this, you need to have a good kitchen scale that is reliable. I am sharing a link down below to the scale that I personally use, and I think this is one of the best scale out there in terms of a price to performance ratio. And regarding my ketogenic shake, it offers 500 calories per shake, and it has 45 grams of fat, which is 380 calories, and it has 30 grams of protein, which is 120 calories. So fat calorie is 76% of total calories, but since I use micellar casein, it's as safe as 80% of fat per shake, since micellar casein digests much slower than any other protein source, and thus the risk for gluconeogenesis is very low. Gluconeogenesis is a process where your body produces glucose out of non-carbohydrate material, and that usually happens when you eat excessive protein. And it can break your ketosis, and that's why you cannot eat too much protein on ketogenic diet. So, basic ingredient of this ketogenic shake are 25 grams of olive oil or avocado oil, and 10 grams of macadamia nut oil, and another 10 grams of liquid coconut oil, and 30 grams of micellar casein protein powder. And since it's a little bit difficult to find the liquid coconut oil, I will post a link down below to the liquid coconut oil that I personally use. And if you are omnivore or vegetarian, the best protein powder for ketogenic diet is micellar casein powder because it digests much slower than regular protein, so it is safe if you want to avoid accidental gluconeogenesis. I will share a link down below to the micellar casein powder that I personally use. It is decent quality with good price, and its texture and flavor are similar with milkshake. The texture is very thick. And if you are vegan, complex source-based protein powder is much better than single protein source-based protein powder. So instead of a single source-based protein powder, such as soy protein powder or hemp protein powder, try vegan protein powder with multiple vegan protein sources. However, you need to reduce the protein amount from 30 grams to 25 grams. I gave out 30 grams only because it's micellar casein. But for other types of protein, including plant-based protein, it's safer to stick to 80% of a fat calorie for the first 3 months of a ketogenic diet. And you pour all these ingredients in a shaker bottle. Then pour some water. Usually, 1 glass of water is good enough, but experiment and find the best amount of water for yourself. You do not even need a blender for this, but if you want, you can put them in a blender with some ice to have more milkshake-like texture. And the reason for using macadamia nut oil is for anti-inflammatory effect, since it is a great source of omega-7 fatty acid, which is very anti-inflammatory. And the reason for using liquid coconut oil is to provide quality saturated fat. And for the successful ketogenic diet for maximum brain function, I recommend several supplements. Salt, potassium, and magnesium are must for ketogenic diet. Without them, you will very likely experience keto flu, which is very similar with the flu, but could be much worse. And for salt intake, I recommend using sodium tablet because it is so much easier to control your sodium intake with that 1 gram sodium tablet. You just swallow the sodium tablet with water. I will share a link down below to the sodium tablet that I personally use. And you need good digestive enzymes supplement because during the initial stage of a ketogenic diet, diarrhea, nausea, and other digestive issues happen a lot. I will share a link down below to the digestive enzyme supplement that I personally use. Also, since the variety of food is very limited with a ketogenic diet, we need to take multivitamin and probiotic supplement. maintaining healthy gut ecosystem is very important for maximum brain performance because the connection between the gut microbiome and our brain. And to maintain healthy gut ecosystem, taking good probiotic supplements is very useful. I will share a link to the probiotic supplement that I personally use. Also, take omega-3 fatty acid supplement because brain's performance is greatly affected by the baseline inflammation of your body. And also, at least during the first 3 months of a ketogenic diet, take milk thistle supplement. Milk thistle is a natural herb and it protects the liver. And the thing is your liver which produces ketones out of fat. And in the beginning stage of a ketogenic diet, there will be a lot of workload on your liver due to this function. So take milk thistle supplement during the first 3 months of a ketogenic diet for safety measures. When I started the ketogenic diet, my liver's ALT and AST score went up 10 times, which was of course a very bad situation. That actually freaked out my primary care doctor at the time. However, it came back down to normal in a couple of weeks. Also, this is optional, but if you start having bowel movement issue, take psyllium husk supplement. Psyllium husk is a great fiber supplement for regular bowel movement. And eating less than 20 grams of carbohydrate per day is tough. Even one serving of a vegetable can offer more than 20 grams of carbohydrate. So we need to stick to the vegetables with the least amount of carb with the highest amount of anti-inflammatory property. For this purpose, I recommend kale, spinach, broccoli, and seaweed. And a stack of emergency ketogenic food, just in case, and carry them with you all the time. When you are not at home, yet need to eat something, you can use those emergency ketogenic food. I recommend macadamia nut, unsweetened coconut chip from Trader Joe's, and pemmican from Frankie's free-range meat. I will share links down below to the macadamia nut that I personally use. And there are a few things you need to avoid. First of all, you need to avoid unhealthy fats such as trans fats, linoleic acid, and omega-6 fatty acid. Also, you need to avoid any of a substance that is harmful to your gut microbiome and the gut ecosystem, such as artificial sweeteners and MSG. Instead of artificial sweeteners, use stevia or monk fruit extract. So I just shared my own version of a modified ketogenic diet. Thanks for listening and all the best.